Hi, I'm Dawn Mello, and I'm the Customer Service Manager for CraftCuts.com. I'm also considered the resident crafter, and I wanted to do a short tutorial on how to use our Re-Stic stencils. The Re-Stic material is a repositionable, sticky vinyl ideal for painting the same design multiple times. It comes on a reusable waxy backing. I'm going to make a pop art style piece using our Love stencil and 4 craft boards. I also have 4 colors of craft paint, some stencil brushes, a paper plate, some water, scissors, pencil, a squeegee, and some paper towels. You may need to trim your stencil for your project. I'm going to take my craft board and place it over my stencil. And using the uniform 3-inch border, I'm going to center my board over my stencil and then trace it out with my pencil. Next, I'll take my scissors and cut it out. Now I'm ready to apply my stencil. Take your stencil and turn it over. Carefully remove the waxy backing by pulling in a diagonal direction, being careful not to tear the bridges of your stencil. Take your waxy backing and save it for later to store your stencil. Because these letters are so large, the stencil is kind of flimsy. So I'm going to keep my stencil down with the sticky side up and take my craft board and place it on top of my stencil, rather than placing my stencil on top of my craft board. Take your craft board and align it to the edges of your stencil. Rub the stencil with your fingers or a squeegee or any other plastic card to seal it to the surface, with concise pressure on the corners and edges of the lettering to prohibit the paint from going underneath the stencil. Here we use just a paper plate and some Crafters acrylic paint. I like to use a stencil brush because it allows for stippling the paint. Stenciling is best without a lot of paint. I dab the brush into the paint and then brush it lightly on my paper towel to remove any excess paint before applying it to the art space. Dab the paint on the surface using an up and down motion rather than brushing it on. Acrylic paint dries fast, so I just need to wait a few minutes before I can remove the stencil. Now that the paint is dry, I can remove the stencil and see my work of art. Gently pull the stencil up and peel it back, being careful not to tear any of the bridges as you pull. The Re-Stic stencil made my lines nice and crisp, and now I'm ready to reuse my stencil on my second sign and do the whole process again using a fresh brush. Well, I'm all done, and I think these lovely pop art boards will look great on my wall. I put my Re-Stic stencil on its backing for future use. Thanks for watching, and keep in mind we have more videos on how to use Re-Stic stencils on specific surfaces like textured walls, fabric, and glass. Call us if you have any questions. I'm Dawn Mello for CraftCuts.com, and I'll see you next time.